this is what if Deku was in the Pokemon universe or was in the Pokemon world, part 2. Now, this is highly requested. It wasn't really highly requested. It was requested a lot on part 1. I had to get ready for part 2, and I'm finally ready for it. Also, after this what if, I'm going to be uploading a couple other what ifs because, for me, summer has begun, and I have a lot of time on my hands, and I'm going to be uploading a lot more and a lot more what ifs and a lot more stop motions actually, because my disclaimer or my description of my channel says, stop motions, and I'm going to start uploading stop motions more frequently. So yeah, but basically, what if stop motions and action figure comedy is going to be really bumped up? The upload times on those are going to be really bumped up, but also I'm no longer going to be doing, music in my backgrounds because copyright issues, so I might just put in uncopyrighted music later on in my videos, but for now, it's just going to be, quiet. But, yeah, so basically, let's get into the what if. Now, this is what if Deku was in the Pokemon universe part 1. Now, this what if is actually, I did part 1 about a couple months ago, and I last left off where Tokoyami was teleported in front or behind the group after Deku's Greninja evolved into his second form. So, basically, at this point, let's catch you up if you haven't seen part 1. Basically, Mina Asashido, don't know how to pronounce her last name. Basically, she has a Squirtle with, the Squirtle, the meme Squirtle with, like, the black, sunshades. Also, Kirishima has a a Charmander, and basically, what was it? Tokoyami, teleports there. And basically, what happens is, over the course of the series, the My Hero Academia universe is going to be merging together into the Pokemon world, basically teleporting multiple characters in My Hero Academia at random times into the My Hero Academia universe. Now, basically, half the time they're gonna meet people that teleport there immediately after they teleport. Oh, or they're going to meet up with teleport, my academic characters where they teleport like across different countries or cities in the Pokemon universe. So basically, by the time Class 1B and Class 1A and also multiple couple pro heroes teleport to the Pokemon universe, it's gonna be like a huge event, like a huge battle war against, what was it, YouTube, and basically the whole entire My Academia universe is gonna merge together and make, Pokemon My Hero Academia, whatever it is. So basically, guys, now basically people still have their quirks in this universe when they get teleported to the Pokemon world. So technically, the Pokemon world is gonna be filled with human quirk users. And pro heroes are going to be a thing, but also Pokemon sidekicks will be a big thing. But yeah, so basically, Deku's quirk, if you don't realize, Deku was born, in this universe, Deku did not have a quirk in My Hero Academia universe, but when he was teleported here, his quirk activated, and basically he had the ability to talk to Pokemon and understand them, and also talk back to them, and they could understand him. So basically, Deku was also able to see through the eyes of Pokemon. At a certain point, Deku will get more abilities with his Pokemon power. Deku will be able to control Pokemon with a weaker intelligence, like some sort of like Pokemon that don't know how to, function, that only have a certain way to, think. But also, Deku could also merge his DNA in or like fuse with a Pokemon, and his fusing is stronger if he has a mental connection with that Pokemon, or a emotional connection with that Pokemon. So yeah, so basically let's start. So basically, our last left off for Tokoyami was teleported to the world behind the group after Deku's Green Ninja was evolved into a second stage from his first stage. So they see Tokoyami, and Tokoyami is standing there and basically look at them confused with him having his street clothes on, looking like this, having the exact same hoodie. Basically, he's confused and says, "Why am I here?" And basically, we skip about 10 minutes later, and the group explains the whole entire situation of how they were teleported here, about Pokemon, and all sorts of other stuff. So basically, you know, like any other like any other, guy from My Hero Academia, he kind of freaks out, but over the course, they go back to like the hotel they were staying at, and basically, Deku, explains more about Pokemon, more about the types of Pokemon and the Pokédex, and basically goes into the city or into the town they were staying in the hotel for, and basically he grabs up a Pokédex for, what was it, for Tokoyami, and Tokoyami says, so I just gotta catch a Pokemon. And basically, Deku says, yeah, but I'll send Kirishima out there with you to help you. I'll stay here with Mina, and we'll train and spar together. Basically, Kirishima and, oh, was it? Kirishima and, I think it was Kirishima and Tokoyami walk out the door, and guys, I actually don't remember. I'm pretty sure Mina was teleported, not not Ochaku, but yeah. So basically, Deku, sits down next to Mina and says, "So let's start training." Now they go outside, basically near like some sort of grassy plain. We skip back to Kirishima and Tokoyami. Kirishima and Tokoyami are walking down the forest, or walking into the forest, and looking around for Pokemon. Pretty much Tokoyami asks, so what type of Pokemon suits me? Kirishima says, well, I came across as Charmander because I like the fiery, manliness it gave off, and also I like how it'll transform into you know, a a Charizard one day, becomes super powerful, and I can become the best Pokemon trainer out there. It's basically Pokemon trainers or Pokemon, masters are kind of like pro heroes in this universe. Basically, Tokiyabe says, cool. And basically Kirishima says, but, are you like, confused or something? Tokiyama says, what do you mean? And Kirishima starts talking about how you ever wonder, if you'll ever see your family again. Tokiyama says, I do, but if I can't get back home, I would rather just try to become the best I can in this universe. So, basically, they walk off and they see that it's some sort of Pokemon with wings, or like some sort of big bird Pokemon. Kirishima and Tokoyami see the Pokemon, and it's called Braviary when, Tokoyami takes out his Pokédex and scans it, and it says its name is Braviary. Basically, Tokoyami says, so what do I do now? I don't have a Pokemon to fight it now. And basically, Kirishima says, you didn't get a star Pokemon, but you can probably use your quirk. And Tokoyami says, yeah. And Tokoyami jumps in front of the bird, and the bird looks at Tokoyami and basically it pretty much runs towards Tokoyami with some, anger, saying that you're on his territory, blah, blah, blah. And basically, Tokoyami takes out his quirk, or summons Dark Shadow, and basically makes his quirk, well, rush straight towards the Pokemon. The Pokemon tries to dodge, but he gets grabbed by the tail feathers down to the ground and start getting straight up jumped by Tokoyami's quirk, basically making it cough up blood, basically about to kill it. But, Kirishima says, you're supposed to weaken it, not kill it. And Tokoyami says, oh, and pretty much, he summons, Dark Shadow. He takes out a Pokeball and chucks it right at the Pokemon's forehead, and the Pokemon is teleported into the ball, and it wriggles a little bit and then makes that satisfying ding ding noise, and Tokoyami has captured a Pokemon, his first Pokemon. So Braviary is a pretty powerful Pokemon, and Tokoyami says, well, I got my first Pokemon. So after that, we switch back to Deku and pretty much Mina, and basically at this point, Deku and Mina, are training and going back and forth. But at this point, Mina and Kirishima, Mina and Deku, after spar, and basically they Tokoyami and pretty much Kirishima come back to the hotel, and they see Deku that Mina and Deku are making out. Kirishima and pretty much Tokoyami are confused and also kind of well, discharged or something like that. I don't know. Basically, they look at them and says, "We'll come back later." Basically, Deku and what was it? Uh, Deku and Mina, stop making out and pretty much get ready, and pretty much they start going outside and they start, training. They train a little bit more with Pokemons, and also Deku trains with Greninja, training alongside, the Braviary Pokemon Tokoyami just, captured. Braviary is pretty strong and almost defeats Greninja, but Greninja gets the upper hand on Braviary and takes him out pretty quickly. In a span of about 30 minutes, the fight lasts that long. Deku gets in a red shirt with white shoes and starts, going around pretty much getting ready for a little bit of a hike in the forest again, and also looking for some, trainers. Now, basically, the town they were staying in isn't really a big town, and it's an obscure town. A lot of Pokemon are there, but it's not a really big town you can find or get a start at a Pokemon hunter. So, pretty much Deku and Deku, Mina, Deku, Mina, Tokoyami, and Kirishima get ready and pretty much pack up their stuff, leaving the hotel, and saying to each other that we're going to do a hike all the way to the main city. Pretty much the same city where, what was it? The same city where what was it? Pokemon movies mainly take place in. Basically, grabbing all of them, and they get ready on their huge hike, or their huge, adventure, gathering some Pokemons along the way, and also finding other, you know, My Hero Academia characters. Now, basically, they're a team of four now, because it's, Mina, Deku, Tokoyami, and Bakugo. Kirishima. They walk down, and we skip about a couple days later. Nothing really happened interesting. They just hiked. Nothing really interesting happened. They did do like an encounter with some sort of crocodile Pokemon. Kirishima sees Crocodile and pretty much, captures that Crocodile pretty easily with Charmander. And, pretty much gets about two Pokemon already. Now, Deku is training with, his Pokemon. And nothing really happened over the 2 days other than, Kirishima getting a Crocodile. Now we come to present day after the 2 days they hiked or they went on their adventure, and they come across some sort of icy plain, or like what was it? Some sort of ice town, and pretty much stays there. And near this area, a lot of ice Pokemon, and also fire Pokemon in this area. It's not like a, it's just a cold area. It's not an ice area. It's just cold. It just has cold climate, but also has warm climate in certain areas where the fire Pokemon are at. So it's basically inhabited by fire and, ice Pokemon, and only those. It's like literally no other Pokemon other than ice and fire Pokemon. So for Pokemon users that are kids that want to have Earth Pokemon, they have to move and get Earth Pokemon somewhere else, or get it from a Pokemon shelter near them. So basically, they go down there, they make up shelter at a, what was it? Making up shelter with a tent at, like, what was it, in the forest area. Basically having watch, making sure Pokemon don't try to mess up their whole entire setup. So there was about three tents. Basically Kirishima, Mina and Deku share a tent because now that they are seemingly dating now. And basically Kirishima and Tokoyami have their separate tent. So basically, they wake up in the middle of the night and they hear some sort of portal open up. Pretty much everybody gets out of their tent and says, "You hear the portal?" Basically, to someone else, and Kirishima yells out someone else arrived. They sprint out and they see a boy with white and red hair and with a blue eye and a grayish eye. Pretty much getting up after falling about, let's say, about 10 feet from the air, and basically coughs up some blood, meaning that he fell on like a tree branch, breaking his fall, but still hurting a lot. So basically, Tokoyami looks closer and says, "That kid kind of looks like," and pretty much Todoroki says, "Endeavor's kid." Now they explain the whole entire situation to him like they explained to Tokoyami, and pretty much Todoroki says, "So I'm away from my father for good." Basically, he says, Deku says, "What do you mean? You're Endeavor's son, so I don't understand." And pretty much, Todoroki says, "You don't understand, but where can I find a Pokemon?" Now, basically, They skip about a couple of miles later after they started walking off, and they eventually come across two Pokemon together fighting each other, a fire and ice Eevee. Basically, De- Deku looks at them and says, "So you're gonna get?" And basically, Todoroki says, "I'm gonna get both of them." Now, basically, Todoroki and Deku, and Tokoyami, and Kirishima are confused, saying, "Are you're really going to take on two Pokemon at once?" Pretty much, Todoroki says, "Yeah." Pretty much in an instant, Todoroki freezes the fire Eevee in solid ice, and pretty much in that span, he says, "Whatever." And pretty much says, well, my father is in here, so he doesn't really need to know. And he chucks a fireball at full speed towards the ice Eevee, pretty much breaking it, pretty much, knocking out the ice Eevee. So basically, he unfreezes the ice around the, what was it, fire Eevee, and puts them both in the Pokeballs, basically getting both of them and saying that I got two Pokemon in the first hour I've been here. Basically, Deku and Tokoyami are kind of confused, but Kirishima and Mina kind of say that's kind of not impressing. It's saying that you are the number two pro hero's son. Todoroki says not anymore. I'm my own man in this world. Basically, pretty much going to sleep, pretty much sharing a tent with Tokoyami. Tokoyami and what was it? Tokoyami and Todoroki go to sleep, pretty much having what was it, like two blankets dividing them in the tent. Another tent is about as big as say the tent is like pretty big, about like 2 feet tall and like 6 feet wide, and so yeah, it's a pretty big tent. So basically, no, about 5 feet tall. Each tent is 5 feet tall and 6 feet wide, so it's a pretty big tent, each one. So and they also could only afford three. Now each of them have about $500 because every time somebody is teleported into the Pokemon world, instantly $500 of Pokemon world currency is teleported into your pocket. So each of them had like $500, and like each of these tents were like, what was it, $20? No, each of these tents were like $28. So basically, Deku goes out in the middle of the night with what was it, Mina, and goes skinny dipping in some sort of into the fire area of Pokemon in a hot springs that they find. Pretty much, kind of having romantic and pretty much saying that you do want to have a real relationship. Do you? Pretty much, Mina says yes, and pretty much, kisses Deku. And that night, something happens. I'm not gonna really get into it, but I'm gonna leave that to your own imaginations. So basically, Deku and Mina pretty much walk back to their tent and they walk back dry because they dry themselves off, and basically walk back into the tent and close the tent up and pretty much go to sleep that night. They wake up the next night, and Tokoyami and Todoroki get ready and wake up the first, and go on a little hike or a little trip around the forest area, not going too far from the tents, but going to train. Basically, getting told, leaving a note behind saying that they're going with the train and don't leave without us. Don't leave without us. So Todoroki and Tokoyami come across a giant Pokemon. And this Pokemon was kind of weird, but they come across a giant Pokemon, like one of those golem Pokemon, and pretty much Todoroki says, "I got this," and throws down his fire, his fire Eevee. Now, basically, they did train before they met up with the, what was it? They did train, Tokoyami and Todoroki did train without, basically coming across the whole entire, what is it? Coming across, the golem Pokemon. So basically, Todoroki says fireball, and the fire Eevee throws a fireball at full speed towards the golem, but it stuns it, but doesn't do anything, or it doesn't really do that much damage. So basically, Todoroki says freak it, and pretty much throws a huge iceberg right at the golem's pretty much body, but the golem breaks through the ice with ease, and pretty much, Todoroki is kind of confused, but brings out both of his Pokemon, pretty much saying fire ice attack. Basically, the fire EV being pushed up by an ice pillar, and the fire EV throwing multiple fireballs at the golem at once, and also the ice EV throwing multiple ice shards or ice knives at the golem, pushing or stunning the golem and also doing some damage, making the golem get about 5% of life. No, about 13% of life. So pretty much Tokoyami says, I got you, and throws a dark shadow punch straight at the golem's side, bringing the golem down to the feet, down to his knees actually, and he starts getting stunned more and more by the, oncoming attacks Todoroki's doing with his Pokemon, and the golem Pokemon is eventually, defeated and captured by Tokoyami. Tokoyami captures the Pokemon, but since he doesn't want any golden Pokemon, he gives it to Kirishima when they get back to the base, or they get back to their camping site. They give it to Kirishima, seeing that his quirk is kind of hard and base, that a golem's made out of pretty much rock, and they give it to Kirishima. Kirishima says thank you, and pretty much gives Todoroki and Tokoyami a big hug, and also dabs up Tokoyami. Basically, they get back up and they get, ready, and they set up their bags and they go off into another area. They go off and they pretty much come across a kid being pretty much jumped by a couple other people about a purple-haired man and a pink-haired woman. They pretty much take the boy's Pokemon and some of his money and pretty much say we're Team Rocket and blast away and blast off or whatever. And they were being chumps. Now, guys, off the story a little bit. When I watched Team Rocket in the Pokemon TV show, the Pokemon anime, I was so angry, bro. I hated these guys. They were so annoying. They were the worst villains ever. I'm not even kidding. They were annoying. They literally were just there for comic relief or to give the main characters some sort of, some sort of obstacle. And also, they always got blasted off into space. I don't understand why they didn't just kill these guys. And I don't understand why these guys aren't even in jail yet. They should have called the police, or at least locked up these guys, or chained them to like a brick or some sort of wood or like a stick somewhere. Because, bro, I don't like these guys. Team Rocket was freaking annoying, bro. I hated all of them, dude, except the girl, bro, that red hair. But, dude, it was straight up, I hated both of them, bro. They were so annoying. And Meow, he became a hero, but then he switched back to become a evil villain. And I freaking hated all of them. They had the typical thing. They were both dumb. They were all dumb. They were all dumb, and Ash is dumber. Pretty much Ash always said, Team Rocket is here. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Just fold them already, bro. I really don't understand how Team Rocket is still a recurring villain or obstacle in Ash's way. At this point, I would have already told Pikachu to accidentally shock their brains out and make them, paralyzed, or make them, disabled or something. So say, it was an accident. My Pokemon didn't mean to use that much energy. It wasn't like I purposely told him to disable these guys forever, for life, and not shock at their eyeballs. But, it wasn't my fault. I also said that exact same thing, because I hate Team Rocket, bro. But for currency problems, for, story problems and story stuff, and I wrote this in my, script, I have to introduce Team Rocket. So, yeah. Let's get back into the story. So, basically, Team Rocket starts, looking at them, pretty much saying, you got a nice Pokemon. Pretty much Deku looking at Greninja, and them looking straight at Greninja. Deku takes out his Pokemon and says, you gotta go up against him first, and chucks out a Pokemon that he did capture during the middle of the night with, Mina at the hot springs. Basically, this Pokemon being none other but a Pikachu. Basically, Deku looks at Pikachu and says, Thunderbolt, and basically shocks both of them up into the sky, taking down both of them, and also them dropping the Pokemon balls, and also the money that they took from the kid, and then being blasted off into the sky. Pretty much, They say in their iconic line saying, "We've been blasted off again, Team Rocket away, blah blah blah, whatever." I hate these guys. So basically, Deku walks over to the Pokeballs and the money and gives it back to the kid, saying that, "Are you okay?" And the kid gets back up and says, "Hey, um, I think I know one of you guys from somewhere. You're Endeavor's son." Basically, them being abused, saying, you're from our world." Basically, the kid taking off his cap and revealing that he's Mineta. Mineta basically, says, "Thank you for my Pokemon and my money, and also, guys, well, can I join you?" Basically, they say, yeah. Basically, they let what was it? They let Mineta join, and basically Mina gets back, clings to or cuddles with Deku. Basically, Mineta, knowing that they're dating, and basically there's no other girls in this group. Now they're walking more into the forest, and they hear another teleport sound, and they look behind themselves, and they see a black-haired girl basically get back up and look at them, saying, "Where am I?" So I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. So guys, I'll leave it off here, guys. Now, if it wasn't as interesting as you guys wanted part 2 to be, part 3 will have a little bit more action. But yeah, guys, so this is part 2 of What If Deku went to the Pokemon universe or Pokemon world. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, guys, like, subscribe. As always, guys, have a blessed day. And you always have the option to give me any requests that you guys want. See you guys later. Bye. Deuces. And have a blessed day.